This past Saturday, I published a video of now former Representative Eric Swalwell in bed. The president's heading to Las Vegas. Well, Eric Swalwell was in Las Vegas. In this video, I'm told, according to geotagging, this scandal has erupted now. Accusers coming forward, many others coming forward, as well as questions regarding his extremely close relationship with Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego. And I want to know if the administration had any comment on the fact that Senator Gallego seemed to be very vocal about wanting the release of the Epstein files, and yet when questions come to his own involvement with Eric Swalwell, he doesn't seem to want to provide anything.
Yeah, look, I think the accusations and allegations against former Representative Swalwell are despicable and disgusting. I think it's also quite plausible, as you point out, Jack, that there were many other Democrats in this town on Capitol Hill who knew about his perhaps illegal behavior, certainly his disgusting and inappropriate behavior. And why were they silent for so long? I think those are questions that must be raised of these sitting representatives, including Mr. Gallego. And I hope that the journalists in this room will do their jobs, and the journalists on Capitol Hill will do their jobs to ask Democrats in power how they knew about such despicable behavior from one of their elected representatives for so long, but never said or did anything about it. So that's what we hope to see as far as the White House and the president is concerned.
So there you see the question from Jack Posobiec to Caroline Leavitt. We want to bring in our guest now, Evita Duffy. Evita, thank you so much for joining us here on Human Events. You know, Evita, obviously all this salacious stuff about Swalwell is just building and building. It's getting worse and worse. He's now resigned. It's amazing to me that it took this long. Is this, at its very core, is this because he was failing so badly in the California governor's race? Or why did they turn on him? Why now?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I think that Democrats saw the writing on the wall. In order for them to win this gubernatorial election, they have to consolidate power with one Democrat. And having Swalwell in the race as kind of the weaker candidate was really harmful to them. What I think is interesting about what Caroline Leavitt said in that clip is that she hopes the journalists in the room actually go and investigate this story, because Gallego is obviously a close friend of Swalwell, but also, there's been rumors and accusations that he may have been the second person in the room. We don't know. There hasn't been an investigation. The journalists aren't doing their job because, again, this is about one scalp. This is about Eric Swalwell. It's not about anybody else, because they wanted to get him out of this gubernatorial race. And what Americans everywhere are saying is, I don't really care about Democrats' political aspirations in California and their hope to continue to control that state. We just want people to be held accountable finally in elected office. And I think that we're not going to see that from the Democrat establishment or the left-wing media, who, by the way, right now are congratulating themselves. Brian Stelter, I think, had this entire monologue about how wonderful it is that he and his other pals in the corporate media are taking on this story. Yeah, they're taking on this story at the behest of the Democratic Party, because beneficial to Democrats in California. This is one scalp. That's all they're interested in, who, again, a very close friend of Swalwell and should be looked into.
Well, Evita, you know, I was reading some of the testimony of Lana Drews. She said that she was drugged and choked and raped by him in 2018. And what I thought was interesting is Swalwell's attorney says that these accusations are, quote, false and offensive. Now, to me, that's a way of deflecting. I mean, what's more offensive, the allegation or the actual crime? It turns the heat back on the victim as if she's the liar. That's what I took away from that.
Right. I mean, it's complete deflection, and it's. I mean, the context here is truly despicable, right? I mean, there are rules, laws against members of Congress having these sort of relationships with underlings, with junior staffers. Says that this is completely unallowed. So if these allegations are correct, I mean, this is extremely serious, and of course he's being dismissive about it. And again, he's also a man who is married. At the time, you know, his wife was apparently pregnant, and so I think what all of us are thinking as the story is rolling out is we want leaders like the founding fathers, right? Like, these were upstanding, good Christian men. What we're seeing come out of Washington lately, and hidden by other powerful people in Washington, is despicable. How does somebody like Eric Swalwell get elected? Not only that, how does he stay in power for as long as he did? Why is he sitting on the Intelligence Committee when clearly he's somebody who's very easily compromised? All of these things should make every single American, irrespective of political affiliation, take a step back and say, we really need new leadership in Washington.
Indeed we do. Well, I know that Jack Posobiec has made his way back over to the studio now, so I certainly want to integrate him. After all, it is Jack's show. Jack, I thought you had an excellent question there for Caroline, and Evita brings up a great point about whether the journalists will actually do their job in pursuing this. I was thinking back, Jack, about the Brett Kavanaugh situation and trying to compare the two. Now, Lana Drews documented this event in her calendar. She told her friends. She had sexual assault therapy in Connecticut. She didn't come forward to law enforcement out of fear, apparently because of Swalwell's connections and how powerful he was. I think that's probably a common denominator among a lot of women, particularly in dealing with people of power. Seems she's got the receipts, Jack. To me, I know you've been following the story all week, so I'd love for you to just kind of tee it off and tell us whether you think that the journalists are actually going to do their job outside of yourself in terms of pursuing this.
Yeah, Bo, I just want to say thanks so much for helping me out and getting over the, going from the briefing to here and the logistics of all that. And thanks to Evita, of course, for rolling with the punches on this. But you're exactly right. The question that we have here is we know what it looks like when the media wants to go after someone. We know what it looks like, whether it's the takedown of Harvey Weinstein, whether it's the takedown of Jeffrey Epstein, whether it's the takedown of whoever it is, and when they went after Kavanaugh as well. We know what it looks like. We know what one of those pressure campaigns looks like. But where is that kind of energy when it comes to Eric Swalwell? And we know, and I asked Press Secretary Caroline the question just now, where's the energy for Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona, who we know is a close friend? They traveled together. They appeared shirtless on vacation together. They have text messages back and forth that they've tweeted out. And what he was out all last year, saying Epstein, release the files, release the files, release the files. Okay, those files are out. But what about your files with Swalwell? What about the Swalwell files? Where's that same level of energy? And we just don't see it. So, and Evita, I'll come back with you. I think we have one more segment. But Bo, that's what this comes down to me about, is who else in government knew about this, especially this network of close friends?